Hello everyone, welcome to in-depth tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we executed our first application in Spring Boot. Now we'll be learning some basic concepts of Spring using Boot. As I already told you, the purpose of this series is to teach all the concepts of Spring using Boot without learning Spring Framework. So let's start. Basically, auto-wiring is the process of dependency injection. It can be of three types: property auto-wiring, setter auto-wiring, or constructor auto-wiring. In property auto-wiring, value of a property is directly injected into the bean by the container. And in the previous tutorial, Spring Boot demo application has implemented property auto-wiring. Let me show you. Here I have copied the Spring Boot demo application into the auto-wiring in Spring. And here's our application starter class that is containing main method, a bean, b bean, and our pom.xml. And that contains the basic entry of a starter that will denote we are going to use the core concept of Spring Framework. So let's come back to the a bean, and in this example, that is our demo application, we have a property named b of type b bean, and we have annotated with @AutoWired annotation. So it is property auto-wiring. Value will be injected directly into this property b. Now let's look at setter auto-wiring. For this, we have to create a setter method, set b, and move this annotation from this property b to this setter method. Now in this, value of a property is injected by the container with the help of this setter method set b. I'm also adding a message so that we get to know when the setter method is invoked. So write and hit save. Let's run this program. Run as Java application. As you can see, the output a bean is created, b, and here is our output setter is invoked. In the case of setter method, requested bean is created first, and after that dependencies are created. So let's look at the example of constructor auto-wiring. For this, we need a parameters constructor. And move this annotation from setter method to this constructor. Also add a message so that we get to know when it is invoked. Now again run this program. As you can see, in the case of constructor auto-wiring, dependencies are created first, and after that the requested bean is created. Now the question is, what is the difference between setter and constructor injection? The answer is pretty simple. Constructor injection is used to satisfy mandatory dependencies, and setter injection is used to satisfy optional dependencies. Let's look at the differences with diagrams. Here's the diagram for setter injection. In very first step, application has requested a bean from the container. In the 1.1 step, a bean is created by the container, and in the next 1.2 step, b bean is created by the container to satisfy the dependencies of a bean. And in the next 1.3 step, reference of b bean is given to the a bean as a parameter of setter method, and in the last step, reference of a bean is returned to the application. And the flow is same for property injection except these 1.3 step. In this step, reference of b bean is directly injected to the parameter without even using setter method. So, and the next is constructor injection. In this, the first step is again the same. Application has requested a bean from the container, And in the next step, before creating A bin container, notice that A bin requires B bin. So it created the B bin first, as you can see in the 1.1 step, and after that in 1.2 step, A bin is created using the parameterized constructor and reference of B bin is given to it. And in the last 1.3 step, reference of A bin is returned to the application. Have you noticed the difference between setter injection and constructor injection? In setter injection diagram, A bin is created first, then dependencies are created and satisfied. But in constructor injection diagram, dependencies are created first to satisfy the dependencies of requested bean, that is A bean. And the second question is, what's the difference between setter injection and property injection? Because both are used to satisfy optional dependencies. The answer is, with the setter injection, you can customize your requirement when IOC calls the setter method, like initializing some other property with this property. So that's all for this tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel and thanks for watching.